Kia ora Year 10. This short video goes over how to write simple algebraic expressions. It follows the homework book on page 29, so if you're having trouble with that exercise, it's worth watching this video. It's revision from work that you did in Year 9. Okay, we're going to start with 3 examples of word expressions. Now we want to be able to write them as algebraic expressions. So the first one is 13 more than a number. The first thing to remember is that in maths, we almost always call the number x. We don't have to, we could call it any other letter, but that's what we usually do. Okay, so 13 more than a number. Well, if you think about what's happened to that number, back in Year 9, some of you might have done this. The number I'm thinking of is x. 13 more than a number means adding 13. So we end up with x plus 13. Now, with most of the simple ones in exercise 701 and 702, you won't need to do that bubble diagram. But when you come to harder ones, it can be a useful method to go back to. So 13 more than a number, we will write as x plus 13. Okay, now notice that x I'm writing with a C and a backwards C. I'm not writing it like this. We save that x, the second x, this one here, for our multiplication sign. Right, so the second one is 8 times a number. So we start with thinking of our number and we call it x, and then we times it by 8. Now, in maths, if we want to show 8 times a number, we don't write the times sign. We put the number first and we write 8x. Okay, so 8 times a number is just 8x. So we've lost the multiplication sign and we've put this number first. We have a special name for that, which is a coefficient. Okay, so it's a fancy word that just means the numeral sitting behind, I guess actually in front of the x. Okay, so the coefficient on 8x is just 8. You don't have to know that word for Year 10, but you'll hear it being used a lot by the time you get to Year 11 and 12. Alright, the last one here, 5 more than double a number. So we've got 2 things happening to the number here. First thing that happens is we write down our number and that's x. The next thing that happens is that we double it. So that gives me 2x. And then we add 5 to it. Okay, so the order we do things in maths matters quite a lot. So we're going to have 2x plus 5. Right, on the next slide there are some for you to do. Okay, your turn to try these. Pause the video now and do these in your maths book. Head it up, beta 701 and 702 video. So something like this, beta 701 and 702 video, or YouTube, or something like that, so you can see where these examples came from. Okay, so pause it now and off you go. Alright, a number times 7 I can write as 7x. 6 more than 3 times a number. So I start with my number x, then I times it by 3, and then I add 6. So my answer is 3x plus 6. So times 3 and then plus 6. The last one, a number divided by 17. Well, that was a bit mean of me because I haven't talked about that in this video yet. But when we do algebra, you might think that we write it like this, x divided by 17. But we don't. We always use the fraction sign to do our division. So x divided by 17 we write as x over 17. Sometimes I'll say divided by, but quite often as we get into the topic, I'm just going to say x over 17. I just want to go over the conventions that we use for multiplying and dividing more thoroughly. Is 5 times y. Right, now we know that's a times because it is an x like that and not an x like that. It's not curly. So that means 5 times y. to avoid that confusion, we write it like this, 5y. Right, the next one is 4y divided by 5x. So this will be 4y over 5x. Now once I've done one of these, I need to take a good look at the numbers. So there's my 4 and there's my 5. If I can simplify that fraction, then that's what I should do now. But in this case, I can't. So that's my final answer. The next one, 2y divided by 2x. Well, we write that down and we get 2y over 2x. And we look at the 2 over the 2. Right, 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So you might think that I would write 1y over x. But remember from year 9, we never write 1y. It's our invisible number 1. So we just write this one as y over x. Okay, on to the last two, squished onto the slide. 5x times 2z. Well, this is the same as 5 times x times 2 times z. So I multiply my numbers first. 5 times 2 is 10. And then I write down my x and my z. But I get rid of these awful multiplication signs. So we don't have those in algebra. So it's 10xz. And the next one we write down as, it's 5 times y times x. So it's just going to be 5xy. It's also okay to write it as 5yx. Remember, the order in multiplication does not matter. But if you're being really elegant in maths, we like alphabetical order a lot. So we'll put the x before the y. Okay, but you'd get a tick for that one, and you'd get a tick for that one. On to the last slide. Okay, your turn to do these. Pause the video and do them into your book. Right, the first one, 5 times x is equal to 5x. The second one we can write as 4x over 6z, but I've got a common factor in the two numbers. So I need to fix that up and write it as 2x over 3z. So look what I've done there. I've divided both the numerator and the denominator by 2. Okay, so that's called simplifying the fraction. And the next one, 5y times w, nice easy one for the end. 5 times w times y, or you could just write 5yw. Okay, either of those is fine. That's all for now. Hope that helped.